Welcome back to Data and Drams. In this episode, I was joined by Bradley Watson, the founder and CEO of Akela Group, a leading consultancy that just celebrated its fifth anniversary. With over 30 years of experience spanning the Australian Army, the Australian Signals Directorate, and the public sector, Brad's career has covered everything from cyber warfare and counter-terrorism to disaster recovery. Today, he works directly with boards and CEOs to design national frameworks and uplift cyber capabilities across critical infrastructure. But in this conversation, we strip away the corporate strategy to look at crisis in its raw form. Brad shares the story of a near fatal house fire 2 years ago, a defining moment where his now co owner Jared saved his life. It's a powerful discussion on how that terrifying experience reinforced the leadership lessons he learned in the military and still applies today. Now for the drams. This week, it was less of a single pour and more of a tasting flight. Brad was generous enough to bring a lineup for our episode where we kick things off with a Samoan whiskey that, to be honest, I expected beautiful tropical notes, but actually tasted a bit like paint stripper. He knew this as well, and I'm fairly sure he just wanted to see me suffer. But we recovered quickly, moving through the Singleton 18-year-old, a Sullivan's Cove double cask, some local dog and gun, and a smoky Talisker 10-year-old. The Talisker actually highlighted a fascinating point. Brad shared how the fire altered his sensory perception to crave those intense, peaty flavours, whereas before he preferred a much smoother palate. We eventually finished on a high note with the Glenfiddich Grand Cru 23-year-old, matured in American and European oak casks and finished in a rare French cuvee cask. It was a silky, refined conclusion to an incredible tasting lineup. This episode is a roller coaster of emotion, high-level strategy, and lots of whiskey. So pull up a chair, pour yourself a drink, maybe skip the paint stripper, and join Brad and I for Data and Drams. Talk me through it, because my first question was going to be, because obviously you're a whiskey lover,
Yes.
what was your favourite whiskey?
Still is.
It's
Still is the 26-year-old
Okay.
Glenfiddich.
Why?
It's got a very peppery taste in the aftertaste. It does very smooth to start with, but then it hits you with the second
Right.
taste. But it's not a punch in the face. It's actually smoother. You still get the peppery taste and a tinge and everything like that, but it kicks in when it starts to go.
So is
Right.
that kind of a palate that you quite like?
It's actually changed quite a bit.
You matured.
No. Never been accused of that. We'll talk about it later on. But the fire, right? My taste on a lot of things has changed dramatically after the fire. Beforehand, it was like my preference for much smoother. But now it's a heavy peat tastes and everything like that. Even with food, it's heavy, like really strong spices now, whereas before
It wasn't.
I hated them.
And we'll get into that because I
Yeah.
wanted to ask about that. But I do wonder if it's a sensory thing.
Could be. I was burnt up quite badly and my legs burnt down to the bone. It only happened 2 years ago.
Wow.
This month on the 16th.
Yeah.
So I'm on the back deck barbecuing,
Mm.
gas bottle, patio over the top, and the big bay windows to the lounge room, and Jared was sitting there bludging, watching it on the lounge, watching
What's
something.
new?
And I'm cooking these awesome steaks. So all of a sudden there was a big flare up. It was a big burst of orange flame with, oh crap, fat fire. So I switched it all off and started to get the steaks off the grill. And then all of a sudden there's a big burst of blue flame. Right,
Oh, wow.
higher than me. So it's like, crap, gas leak somewhere. So I called out Jared. He come running out. Quickly told what happened. Then we pull the bottle out. So Jared was down on my right-hand side kneeling. Pulled the bottle out. Jared spun the dial, turned it off. I double-checked. Yep, turned off. We unplugged. But then the top of the seal of the gas bottle blew and gas started escaping. And then just around my eye level, I saw the gas start to ignite, and Jared's head was pretty much over the gas bottle. So pushed him and pulled the gas bottle towards me. That then set me on fire. Then the patio started burning up and everything like that. As I'm on the ground wrestling the gas bottle so it doesn't blow directly like the jet flame doesn't. And the jet flame went higher than the house.
Wow.
So I'm wrestling that. Jared went and grabbed the hose, and then first thing he did was come put me out. So I was on fire. So he hosed me down. So then we both got up, started to try to fight the fire on the rear deck. Saw that it had gotten inside because of a big gustal coastal wind. So both ran around the front door. I was yelling at him to stay out, but he didn't listen. Just as I got in the front door, I had the hose with me and all that sort of stuff. And I slipped over and cracked my skull right open. He picked me up. Then we went further inside and fighting the fire. And I was hyper focused on where the fire was, and Jared must have been watching the other stuff. And then all of a sudden, I then found myself being picked up and carried to the front door. And then just as we got to the front door, that's when all the roof collapsed in where we were. I would have been dead if it wasn't for him. So we basically lost the house in 12 minutes.
I was going to ask how long it took.
Away
Wow.
to the front, all through the roof. And then that's where it all collapsed in. The next 3 days, I can't really remember that much, just bits and pieces. And then I was laid up in hospital having my, oh golly gosh, woe is me sort of moments. The doctors would come and grab me, throw me in a chair and wheel me around to so this is all at the Royal Brisbane, the burns unit there. They'd wheel me around and show me people that were way worse off than what I was. So that was a bit of a reality check. And then learnt that the two very young, petite, small physiotherapists were two of the most evil people on the planet.
They usually are.
Yeah, they were. I made sure I mentioned my appreciation to them. But no, it was all a process. And then as that's where the contingency planning and everything kicked in, and Jared took over.
Yeah.
And the other business partners I had at the time and some of the staff and everything. So Jared was running the show and he kept things going. So, because I was several months laid up in bandages.
I was going to ask, how long was the recovery?
Yeah. Bandages come off after about 3 months. Yeah, three and a half or something like that. And then learning to walk again.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. And by the time the nerves and everything reconnected, or started to reconnect enough for me to be able to walk properly and all that sort of stuff. As I say. Yeah, there was a reason why we had contingency things in place was a few weeks beforehand, I had to get something checked on my skull, on my head. And yeah, went and saw the doctor and he goes, that's got to come out immediately. So 72 hours later, I'm under the knife. And so in that 72 hours, we had to quickly spin up all the BCP and processes and everything like that. So that's how that was in place by the time the fire happened.
I mean, hindsight. Yeah.
So no, that's, as I said, having some people in place who could step in, who knew the inner thinking and everything, knew the direction. Brilliant clients. One of the key clients had a major deliverables due within the next couple of days, and actual fact, but all the clients bent over backwards and just said, look,
I think it adds
blow it all away.
Some perspective as well of, is this deliverable really life or death?
Yeah. So that was, but that whole process, as I said, my taste changed in a lot of things.
I think that's fascinating. Like the psychology behind that, there's obviously something there.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
But even that whole experience, life altering.
It certainly gave me time to reflect on myself, things, the company, where I wanted to take the company and everything. And as I said, I had a couple of business partners at the time. But afterwards, collectively made the decision, look, I want to do things differently. So they exited out, which was all good, no dramas. Bit of a turnover in staff and everything like that, so as you'd expect. And no, it's been going well forward. And then Jared became part owner of the company. He was already doing work in the company, already learning things from the bottom up and whatnot. Yeah, and Jared will eventually go and do your army stuff when that kicks in. And if he ever comes back, the company's there and everything. So yeah. But there's a couple of things I learned about myself and that as well, is that for a killer, so we have a number of, as I said, cyber, digital transformation, business continuity, and all that sort of stuff. Eventually, they'll split out to their own businesses, and a killer group will sit across the top. I've learned that I'm not wired to have non-blood business partners. I've tried it now a couple of times, and both times it was like, yes. I've learned that about myself in regards to the companies that sit underneath. Yep, no dramas. We'll bring in CEOs and partnerships and all that sort of stuff. And that, but in regards to sitting above, So that was a big thing that I learned about myself through that process.
Yeah, because it's a massive experience to go through together in that space.
Yeah. Oh, look, if I put it in an aspect, I got to see one of my kids do, I shouldn't say kid, young man, do something they'd never been trained for, never experienced in life. No, they do something courageous. And
Very instinctive.
so seeing one of your kids go through a process like that, the part of me is really chuffed, but the other part is that they had to be exposed or to put in that situation. So yeah, there was a process through there, and it's helped shape where Aquila has gone or going now. So it has changed.
I feel it's also a part of you and a reflection of where you are now.
Yeah, certainly. And it's been something, the company's been something that's been in the back of my mind since 2016, if I'm being honest. I was working for one of the big four at the time, and I was sitting there as an associate director for 6 months. My whole job was doing Visio diagrams for 6 months, and that was to put a bum on a seat on an engagement. It was just like, yeah. So Aquila's been designed from
your trials and tribulations, really. Yeah.
Digital, but it's also from my sort of like military background is small specialist teams. Everyone's a strategic asset. Everyone's a heavy hitter, multi-skilled.
Yeah.
And so that's how the company's been designed, is everybody that we bring on board is a strategic asset, can do from getting their hands dirty on the floor, so to speak, on the shop floor, to in the morning and then afternoon sitting down in front of the CEO or a board or whatever and having those conversations.
That's a great way for people to learn as well.
No, it is.
And build a skill.
It's not for everybody, but we're not for everybody either.
Yeah.
It's working for us so far. Is it later this month on the 20th is our 5 years.
Yeah.
So we'll see how we go.
So they grow up fast.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Whiskey time.
Yes. I did want to say thank you for sharing. I know that's a lot.
All good.
And obviously to Jared as well.
So this first one is actually a whiskey from Samoa.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I've never...
No, neither did I until my friend, who was posted there for 3 years on his way back, thought it would be a good idea to bring this back for me. It has a certain taste. So that's why we're doing it first. And then we're going to follow it by a Singleton, which is a more of a heavy, peatier one.
Yes.
That actually will help take away the taste. This is not...
Okay.
I'll let you smell.
Yeah, can I?
Yeah.
Well, when you say it's something, I don't know what to expect. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It can also double as paint stripper. So
yeah, no, I'm...
Yeah, nah.
I was, the initial stuff, I was like... And then I was like, hold on. I don't know.
Yeah. It's not made in a traditional whiskey sense.
No.
It doesn't even have traditional whiskey ingredients.
No. Because I was trying to find the ingredient on the back.
So
that's very exciting.
Yeah. We won't do just an old stuff with punishment as well.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
I won't make you do it alone.
We're in it. Thank you.
I'm sorry the first one won't be the best.
We can only go up from here.
Exactly.
Cheers.
Cheers. You might be doing a rinse down of these. Okay.
Yeah. It's not even pleasant.
Let's just get it over and done with first.
Is this a shot?
Yeah. No, normally it's just a skull.
It's a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the only real way. Yeah. Do you want to go and wash these, mate?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the last time I invite you to the show.
However, we'll quickly get rid of that.
God, I felt my heart just constrict.
Yeah, have a sniff.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah.
It's quite sweet, isn't it?
Yeah. It does when it's going down.
So this is the Singleton 18.
18-year-old. They're becoming quite hard to get. Singleton's becoming very hard to get now because they're becoming quite popular. We started getting them around 2016, 2017,
Oh.
and hardly anyone had ever heard of them. But
I've
post-COVID,
only recently heard of Singleton.
yeah.
I wanted to ask as well, and it might be going back a while.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you first started getting into whiskey? Thank you, Jared.
Yes, I actually do.
Oh, because
It was actually in Canberra. It was once again, I was working at that first Big Four company. And we had to do a trip down to Melbourne. And so the head of their entire defence practice invited us around the place and actually introduced me to a 30-year-old snow leopard, Glenfiddich. So that's
a nice little intro for you. Yeah.
Yes. I actually didn't touch alcohol until I was in my 40s. So
that's saying more about me than it does.
No. There's a coal mining background, a coal mining family with all the coal mining issues growing up and hardcore alcoholic family. And I was always too
not for
scared.
me.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't touch
Thank
until I actually,
Thank you. Yeah, that's fair. I haven't talked about this, but my very first whiskey, I believe, was the Macallan.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah. Okay. That's a nice one to start off on.
Yeah. I think I had this from a previous partner. He was really into whiskey and got really into Macallan.
Yeah.
And then I remember thinking I was going to be really cool and pay for the drink on a date. And I was like, don't worry, I've got this. Yeah. That was the last
shock.
That was the last drink that I purchased that night because I think it was like $65 a nip.
Yeah.
I was like, it's probably back to beers, I think. But that was that. And then I think I had a Jura for a whiskey sour after that point. But then I got into it properly.
Yeah. So I collect as well as, so whatever I collect, I have a drinkable of as well.
I call it sip and save.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to steal that. So the kids strongly encourage the collection because it's
inheritance.
The inheritance on it. So it's gotten, believe it or not, the cabinet that they were in the fire, or the cabinets, I should say.
Distinction.
Like the cabinets got scorched up and everything, and some of the glass panels cracked or broke or whatever, but the whiskey's all good. Everything inside, with the amount of whiskey in the collectibles, if that had gone up, it was just like
thousands.
Yeah. So there was a.
I can imagine the relief. You're like, oh, thank God.
Yes.
Oh, the whiskey.
Oh, the oven door blew out, cracked. The screen doors on the back all blew out, and meters across the backyard and everything.
So there's a whole house.
Yeah, the whole house lost. Lost pretty much everything. The rebuild was about 85% rebuild.
Wow.
And that, up here, interesting note, if you're doing a rebuild, it took 11 and a half months exactly before getting back into the house. If it had been fully knocked down, so they managed to save a couple of the brick walls, small amount of the timber frame. If it had been a complete knockdown, a complete reapplication of all the licensing, the architectural plans and everything, so it would have taken about 3 years. That's the state of building in Queensland at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, thankfully, it was classed as a rebuild.
That's amazing.
Yep. But anyway, here we
Bottoms
go.
Up.
Yes.
Cheers. This is much nicer already.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was you gave me. I can actually sip this one.
Samoa.
Yeah, but I was expecting tropical and not that.
No. So yeah, my friend had a barrel of laughs when when he brought it over, we had 4 or 5 glasses each.
Of that?
Yeah, in that one night. It was just,
did you have nothing else?
Yeah. It was empty stomachs and everything. It was just like it was a wicked night.
That's like that genuinely tastes of nothing.
It's made to look more along the lines of the old Carver juice. First time I had it was actually in the Maldives. Work sent me on a work trip, business trip actually, to the Maldives to attend a conference, a cyber conference. And I had to give a presentation on botnet attacks and something else around IP addresses and everything like that. I forget what it was.
Going to the wrong conferences.
Yeah, I know. So that was a good time. I actually had the Minister for Afghanistan there, and his staff were talking. This is the communications minister for Afghanistan. He was there as well. Awesome guy, brilliant. And then while he was there, he got notified that some of his family had been wiped out in the process. And everyone said, "Oh, yeah, be going back home." And he goes, "No, my job is here. My country needs me here."
Wow.
So it was, brilliant speaker, just really genuine guy and everything like that as well. And
That would have been amazing.
yeah, so we chatted for hours.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so it was quite an interesting conference there. And it was supposed to be APAC. We had people from Mongolia and where else? Yeah, as I said, Afghanistan, India, a range of others all through Central Asia and everything like that as well. So
I think it's awesome. Like
Yeah.
you've had so many experiences that I just wanted to come back as well, just to where you started your career, because I know it was in the army.
Yep.
And I guess to where you are now.
Yeah, over my 21 years in the army, I started off infantry and then was successful in a changeover to intelligence corps. And predominantly my army career was more in the human intelligence streams. And then whilst doing that, army decided, hey, we're going to send you on this cyber course.
Cool.
You can spell cyber. And so that was the genesis of defenses, like cyber warfare.
Yeah.
Back way in the day, but it was called something else. And then through that career, also involved in counter-terrorism and a number of other things. And the end of my military career and the beginning of my public service career was in an ASD, so doing stuff in there, including cyber aspects. And once again, what was also the next iteration of the cyber warfare sort of things. So that's really where that stemmed from. Then
It's a cyber course.
Yeah, because I'm doing a course of human interaction, working with humans and that, and then Army and its wisdom went, "Oh, you can spell cyber, so here you're going on this cyber course." But I was actually having a lot of trouble understanding the concept of cyber until one of my mentors sat me down and goes, "Okay, think of it as a weapon system."
Yeah.
I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Your logic bombs are your hand grenades. And you're putting in a tap, that's your listening post when you're out." So he explained it all in a military or weapon systems context.
Yeah.
And I'll go, when he finished, I go, "Oh, that's easy.
I already do that.
Why don't they teach it like that?" He goes, "All right, you want us to teach people."
Yeah.
So,
That's a great way of looking at it, though. It's very practical for you.
That was one of the best things that I took away from the military was I'm not suited for a traditional classroom like school. I only passed one subject.
Yeah.
But they were sitting in a classroom day in, day out, just bores the absolute out of me. And I sometimes the attention span of a dead nut when I'm bored.
But when you enjoy something,
Yeah.
you're hyper-focused.
Yeah, and the army or the military actually goes, we're doing the theory first,
Yep.
and then you're outside doing the practical blah, blah, blah. And that's what I love. And that works best for me. And that also includes cyber courses and everything like that as well.
It's the application of it that you can take away now.
Absolutely. And then the journey was at that first Big Four, wasn't doing cyber, but more in the national security space. So doing work back in at the intelligence organisations like ASD and doing capability development and a few other things in there. And then from there, it was over to another Big Four where it was to help them build their cyber practice.
Yeah.
And everything like that as well. And then from there, it was to another company. And while I was at that other company, it was like, nah, I've got to make the move to my own company somewhere. It was at that time that my dad, who was up in Rockhampton here, got told he had less than 12 months left. And so it was, well, I'm relocating up here. And it was time for me to get out of Canberra anyway. Done enough, 15 years there, and it was like, nah,
it's a long time in camp.
So then, we started the company in 2020.
Peak COVID?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, nothing like rolling the dice
No,
backing yourself.
If it's going to work, it's going to work then.
Yeah. Reached out to a former client, just said, "Oh, I'm moving up to Brisbane. So if you hear of anything going, I'm happy to do whatever." And then I got a phone call back from that client a couple of days later. He goes, "Look, I need help developing our 5-year cyber and IT strategy." There was a selection process as a contractor.
Yeah.
Come in. and then started, and then a couple of other organisations up there that I was getting to do some stuff with. One of them actually said, look, how soon can you start a company?
Wow.
Want you to do this bit of work for us, but you have to have
So
bigger resources.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when the ask came of you going, can you
Yeah.
start up your own thing? Had you already been thinking
Yeah,
about?
well, myself and another guy had already gotten together, and we'd started the process of starting the company, all the back end and registrations and blah, blah, blah. All right, what do we want this beast to look like and everything. So we'd already been doing it.
That was the,
Yeah, so it was,
we need to.
yeah, so the trigger was pulled about 4 months earlier than what we were planning.
I feel like that's always the best way, though.
Oh, yeah, it forced us. We
Yeah.
quickly talk about agile.
Rapidly. Yep.
Yeah, rapid development of some things.
The next day.
Yeah. So what did you think of Singleton?
Look, it's better than that.
Yeah.
So,
oh, wow. No.
But what I liked is it may just be, and this is a sensory thing as well, when you have something
really bad. Yeah.
everything tastes and smells better. But this was quite sweet, but like a little bit of pepper.
Yes.
It was really lovely.
Yeah.
Because I've had Singleton before, but not this one.
Yeah, the 12-year-old can sometimes be a little bit of a punch in the face, can't it, with the heavy peaty on it.
Are you a heavy peaty?
As I said, pre-fire, no. Him, yes.
You like the peaty?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
post-fire, yes. Like
Wow.
I prefer
See, I like when I think of peaty, I think of smokehead, which is like a punch in the face.
we got it. We got a bottle.
It's like drinking a campfire. Like it is a lot. It's beautiful. I feel like you could make a smokehead candle, which I would buy instantly.
Yeah.
To drink though, it's a lot. Whereas for me, if I go peaty, I like a Bowmore 12 because it's just like a little bit, and it's really nice that you could sip. I judge my peat on, can I sip this continuously, or can I only have one and I'm done?
No, I prefer, like he prefers his neat. I prefer mine with ice.
Controversial.
Yes, absolutely.
But
more than anything is I just prefer a cooler. Like not necessarily watered down, but just
it's hot here.
Yes.
It's
in
hot.
Scotland, it's not.
Yes. And I would like to say, first of all, a lot of people are like, if you want to ruin a good whiskey, put ice in it. Come and live in Brisbane.
Yep, exactly.
That's what I would say. Ooh, what have we got here?
So this is Sullivan's Cove.
Is this Australian?
It's Tasmanian.
Yeah.
So it's not the one that won the single malt champion of the world, but it is from their line.
Just having a look at what cask it is.
Yep.
So I think I got Sullivan's Cove. So you've heard of the Whisky Club.
Yeah.
So there's another one, Barrel Lane, which is specifically Australian. And that's where I heard of Sullivan Cove because I didn't realize we had so many. Yeah, I think in Tasmania we've got 52.
Yeah, it's a bucket
Insane.
load of whiskey distilleries down there. And I actually think, because Sullivan's Cove is actually located out near the Hobart Airport.
Is it?
All brand new facilities, brilliant. And their tasting environment is an experience. Like that, they're brilliant at it. Very high-end facilities and everything like that. They're not cheap. They don't sell to retail outlets. You can only order directly from them.
See, I like that.
And they're only limited. And so this one is
only,
there's 1,328 bottles, and this is 1,105. So it's all ordering, like they'll send out once a month.
So are you with the club?
Up. Yeah, signed up to it. I was actually signed up to Sullivan's Cove.
Oh, wow, okay.
So each month they send out whatever they're offering, and basically you've got to bid because it's very limited numbers.
Yeah, so it's not like you go on a ballot and then you get pulled out. You bid how much you want to pay for that.
Or they give a price, but it's you've got to be in very quick.
Right.
So if I say that way, because they do go very quick.
Oh, I'm keen to try. It's very light.
Yeah, it is. This one is actually a much lighter one. It's sweet, almost a little bit of honey, if I can put it that way. Yeah, some people actually say, look, has this got gin in it?
I don't like gin. No. It's like medicine. It is very much like honeycomb. Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very...
Yum. This feels very much like there's honeycomb and a bit of like floral.
Yeah, no, it's... What was
Really
they're saying
nice.
it was more of a spring.
Yeah. went through your favourite whiskey. We obviously know how you got into cyber.
The start of the career and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I guess moving to where you are now, is there anything in that span of your career that you reflect on and go, okay, that's a strategy I'll take with me everywhere?
One of the things once again, we established the company, but in the last 2 years, we've really focused on is relationships with current or potential clients or anything like that.
Does that include partners as well? Like cyber partners?
Oh, yeah. So a couple of strategic partners now, one of them being Lumen Technologies.
Yeah,
so
very exciting.
Yes, one of the bigger global gorillas, but we've partnered. So we have our own SOC capability, but it was built for looking at small and medium businesses,
Not
like that market.
Yeah.
But now we also have the
Enterprise.
ability for, much bigger and everything. And the capability is spread between Brisbane and Melbourne. So Lumen have got an Australian SOC as well as a number of other SOCs around the world. They got one of the largest monitoring of internets ever.
Yeah,
so much traffic passes through there because they're also telecommunications.
Yeah.
And that as well. So they're combined. So, for example, their threat intel platform, Black Lotus Labs, for example, leading edge. What it's done, so it's being used in a number of US and Australian national security intelligence organisations. So it gives a very different picture to most others, and it's driving actual operations and everything as well. And they have some spectacular people and capabilities, but then again, so do we. And so it's been in regards to a SOC capability, a combined capability. It's very much out there, leading edge, very, I hate using the term, but agile. But it moves quickly, right? And it can move very quickly and everything as well. So that's been we spent a lot of time looking at them and they at us, and and based on relationships and everything as well. Their APAC lead, John Hines, we've known each other for years. And yes, he's a good hand. The co-hosted whiskey event that you got to attend. Yeah.
Love John.
Yes.
I don't think he enjoys whiskey as much as we do.
He doesn't. No, he's more of a Japanese beer.
Yes.
And whiskies, it was because, no, John, you will.
I'm getting a taste of burn. And I was like, accurate. We talked earlier about, obviously, the fire and how it impacted you. And I guess it considerably changed your approach and how you do business and day-to-day life.
Yeah, it did.
Did it change your perspective on crisis management in the cyberspace?
To some degree. Like, growing up in the army environment, if I can put it that way, growing up in the army environment. So that was actually one of the best crisis training or crisis management organisations, real-time and exercises and everything like that. Very early on in my career, I got to be involved in how to design and deliver complex exercises, for example. And then all the crisis activities in them, whether they be a conventional military, whether they be cyber, whether they be a counter-terrorism, whether it be a human operations or blah, 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 a whole range of things. And then the mentors I had throughout that process and that as well really taught me a lot because they had done a lot of stuff real time as well as I was starting to enter into that. And then I got to do my own real time activities where you make mistakes and it has real
impact
consequences and everything like that as well. So we took that model and we civilianized it, so to speak. A lot of people, if I'm putting it in the cyber context, a lot of people actually go, look, as long as we've got in place these tools, all your alerting, all your monitoring, all your response capabilities, but that's not where it's won or lost.
Yeah.
It's actually won or lost in the staff, in the people. If they paralysis by analysis and decision by committees are two of the things that will kill. Yeah. If you can't make decisions, if you can't look at vast quantities of different types of information and intellectually sift out the crap and just find what you need to focus on, and that includes people too. Because all during an incident or a crisis, people are coming at you left and centre, trying to get information to you, but you've got to be able to sift it, and then you've got to be able to see the clarity and then make decisions out of it. And sometimes it's got to be like this. And so a good team can make just about any bad process work well. A bad team will ruin just about every good process.
100%.
Yeah? And leadership is a key part of it.
Yeah.
If you've got a crap leader, whereas if you've got a good leader,
they'll excel.
Yeah, absolutely. And the team will drive towards it. Yeah, in regards to the tooling and all that sort of stuff, let's say, for example, all of your alerts are set at the perfect parameters. All of your monitoring is in place, and that you're monitoring everything that needs to be monitored across an organization's ecosystem. All the architectural matches the what was given to the SOC team to monitor. So let's say it's all perfect. Stuff's still going to happen. So unless you've got a team that's drilled and you've practiced to be able to handle pressure, to be able to think under adverse conditions, to be able to make decisions, to be able to not freak out. One client organisation, it was a government commercial organisation, and only the CISO and the coup of the organisation knew that this 3-day exercise was going to occur. We kicked it off and everything like that, and the CEO of that organisation went and hid in a room and broke down crying, and then jumped on a plane and left.
Really?
And there were a couple of other elements in the leadership, all the way down to like team leads, that sort of had meltdowns and all that sort of stuff as well. So that was a good indicator of stress testing the processes in there. Whereas we've also had other client organisations that were doing a full-blown technical attack, as well as the above the line, like testing all the processes, the people, the client. The CISO, for example, might be going, I need you to push this team hard to almost a breaking point, because I need to know where their limits are.
Yeah.
I need this individual pushed because I'm looking at them being promoted. So I need to know if they can handle it or not. And so there's all of these parameters which get put in, and we inject information at certain elements and track where that information gets fed up, and does it actually make it to the level that it's supposed to make, and be briefed to the boards, the CEOs and executives and everything like that as well. So it's quite a process in that. Technology is technology for the most part.
Yeah.
And you have to plan that it's going to fail, or not all smart people work for the good guys. And so they're always finding ways around the technology. How the team responds, that's where you win or lose. And you've got to win the information warfare campaign or the media strategy and everything like that.
Yeah.
You've got to go have a consistent, well thought out, pre-planned series of media artifacts or communication artifacts internally and externally.
Yeah.
Because that can either make or break you. If a governor of the day loses confidence in a secretary's ability to respond, head of a department, government department ability to respond, or if shareholders lose confidence in an organisation's senior executives in their ability on. And it can take a private sector organisation 3 to 5 years to recover its reputation and get back on its feet financially because of the loss and everything like that. You look at who was at Target in the US.
Yes.
Yeah, when it got hit, the senior executive's gone. Billions of dollars wiped out. Took quite a while, a few years, for it to recover financially, reputationally, and everything like that. Whereas if a government department gets hit, executives probably get cut, but it recovers its brand name fairly quickly, within 12 months, so to speak.
I do find it really interesting that when you're talking about, I guess, the best approach to cyber, whatever it may be, it always comes back to people.
Yes.
No matter who I talk to, no matter what leader I talk to, it always comes back to people and their ability to have those soft skills to be able to lead or respond.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's cyber, counter-terrorism, natural disasters, a IT disaster recovery activity, or whatever. The triggers may be different, but very quickly it goes into the processes are very similar. There are some very good people out there that have got it down pat. There's some very good writing as well about it, and there's some good tertiary courses
out
there as well. with it. No, a couple of guys that just finished their masters in crisis management and everything like that as well. It's good activities. It's the same as with the cyber training, especially if you want to get into, but also even mid-level sort of stuff. TAFE Queensland actually runs brilliant.
Yeah.
The amount of money they've spent on sandpit environments and all the tools that they've got there, for example, and it's quite practical and everything like that. And they show that delineation between technical or GRC and everything like that as well. So it's they've got a very good schooling in that, because we're tracking a few people going through there. So, down the track, we'll probably reach out and tap them on the shoulder. We don't run recruitment rounds. We only approach. Okay. So we track some people, and everything. But we're the team, the full-time staff, smaller numbers, but for a reason. And I'd say this jokingly, but I actually do mean it. I'm the dumbest person in the whole company. Everyone else is way smarter than me in regards to their skill sets. It was actually back in Army days, we were getting ready to go overseas somewhere. I was attached to a unit and it was going overseas. And John Howard was the PM. And he came to visit the unit before going over. Okay. And one of my soldiers actually said to him, "So look, PM, you've been PM for, I think it was about 9 years by that stage. You've been a PM for quite a while. What's been one of the key successes?" And to the PM's John Howard's credit, he goes, "Look, my career, my mentor sat me down and said, 'John, you will never be the smartest person in the room. You need to accept that right now. But the best thing that you can do is hire people that are smarter than you and ones that aren't afraid to say no to you. And then once you can convince them of your messaging, then you'll be able to convince the people of what it is that you want to say.'"
I think that's fair.
And that's actually just something that stuck with me. The view of politics people take on. That's not the point. It's just, that's something that I've tried to take with me throughout the process, especially when we started the company.
I think it's a great way to look at it.
Had a couple of not so good experiences with it, but that's live and learn and everything.
Yeah.
So we have a 3-pass process where, let's say we're looking at someone or someone, let's say you're working with us, and then Jared, for example, is out there, he's not part of the company, and you go, "Hey, I think you'd actually work well for us." So you bring his CV to the table. Everybody gets a say. We talk amongst ourselves to go, "Hey, do you know of this person? Can you reach out to your network? Can you find out pros and cons and everything like that?" And then if they get through that, everyone gets a vote as well. Then the first interview is looking at, okay, would you be a good cultural fit?
Yes.
For the organisation? That's more important than anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
Aptitude and attitude.
Yep.
Will you be able, because every time you introduce a new person into a team, a close-knit team environment, it changes the dynamic, but everyone gets a say.
That's fantastic.
They don't necessarily get the casting vote or the final vote, but they get
there's influence there.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you go, "Yep, we think they'll actually be good," then the next interview is looking at the skill set. Where could we do? What level are you? And all that sort of stuff. And then the interview is with me, where we sit down and I've got to be able to look you in the eye and make my own judgment out of that. Now, let's say bring Jared on and everything like that. Been with us for 3 years and royally stuffs something up. He's the second person I yell at. You're the first.
Because I brought him on.
Yep. Forever and a day is your responsibility. But that's what the team wanted.
Okay.
So a majority of the team, actually, majority of the permanents and majority of the contractors that we use come from those sort of like specialised environments, majority national security, defence, some mining, some finance, and a couple others as well. So
I really enjoy the fact that, because I'm starting to dip my hand into cyber and explore what that might look like for me. And I have found when I've been conversing with even our cyber team, they are very small but close-knit, and everyone has their own kind of specialty and experience that they bring to the table. And I quite like that. I like the fact that there is a smaller team that I can dip into, and they've all got their own knowledge that they can provide. And I agree, like it is very much about who you know and whether or not you bring that culture to the table as well. And I find it really interesting that's the first thing that you look at. Because a lot of people I know that come to me or even apply for a job, they assume that the first thing is their CV and that they need to perform a certain level or they need to have particular certifications to get them across the line. A lot of the time, though, that's not enough.
No.
Or it's not the first thing.
No, it's aptitude and attitude. You can teach them the technical stuff or the work-related stuff most of the time.
Most of the time.
There are natural aptitudes for different streams and everything like that, but it's finding some people are better suited for working in government organisations. Some people are better suited for working in private sector. There's not a lot that actually can switch between the two equally.
Yeah.
You know, you're either, and there's people that are better suited for the organisations that have more human interaction, and there are other people that are better suited for more the propeller head, hardcore technical.
But I feel like everyone has a place there. There's reasons and seasons for people, and I think if you're really technical and really good at that, God, I need you on my team.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I know that I'll never be that person. I'll never be highly technical. But it's also, I'm one of those people that can converse and can bridge the gap.
Yeah.
So I think there's always different skills for different people.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the missing skills where there is a significant, doesn't matter if it's government or private sector, is a person's ability to translate between geekanese and into business speak. That's what's missing in a lot of organisations. Like the amount of boards and CEOs and senior execs that we deal with, which is quite a lot. If I look at them, one of the biggest things that's pissing them off at the moment is a lot of the CISOs or cyber staff, when they come to brief them, they're just speaking technical, speaking geekanese, and not in a business context, not in a, they don't understand, hey, these are the organisation's top 5 or 6 critical service deliveries, what they have to deliver, and then understanding the infrastructure that underlies the delivery of that service and everything like that as well. And so they just come in talking, and I've been in some board meetings and everything, and I sit on boards and that as well, where you just see glassing over, and you can see the chair of the board or the CEO or whatever starting to get really cranky, and then they just start discounting or discrediting whatever. So those cyber and IT leads, so to speak, if they can convert into the business speak, convert into enterprise risk and everything like that, convert into dollars speak.
Yeah.
Look, if you don't do this, then this is what the financial impact's going to be to us. That's actually what gets the message across to the execs and boards and everything.
Easily. Yeah. I've said it a few times as well, as that skill of being able to translate is quite underrated. Yeah. And I came into tech not realizing that inherent skill that I had was a gap with quite a lot of people, because I came in being like, I'm not highly technical. These people are very technical, and God, I'm the dumbest person in the room. But the skill that I do have is facilitating those conversations to make sure that, hey, my team is saying that this has happened.
Yeah.
What does that mean for that business executive? Does it mean that they get it quicker? Does it mean that there's an impact? Does it mean that they lose dollars or gain dollars? That narrative is what's missing. I think is a skill that you can learn, but it's a skill that's overlooked a lot of the time.
Absolutely. I actually think there's not a lot of people that are doing it at the moment. I'd have to think about if the majority of people can actually do it. If the majority of, let's say, cyber and IT staff or technical staff, if they can actually make that transition, something for me to think about. But where I do see a growing issue is a lot of the technical leads, the CISOs, the CTOs, they may have grown up in the stream. So they may have started as an architect or a SOC analyst or whatever and worked their way all up. Even at that C-suite level, they're trying to still get their hands down. One of the biggest mistakes they're going to make, and so often they'll go, oh, I'm an SME. And no, you're
not anymore.
Within 6 months of stepping out of that technical lead, you were no longer proficient. What you need to change to is to become an SME in leadership.
Yes.
Not management, but leadership. Almost anyone can be a manager, but very few managers can step up and actually be a leader.
I completely
agree. And there's a big difference between the two.
Huge.
Was actually ex-army officer, went on to become a minister and all that sort of stuff. He was one of my commanding officers at 6R out back in the infantry days. One of the things he taught me, though, was you manage situations and equipment, you lead people.
I love that.
So there is big to you. You sit there and you go, oh, I'm a manager of a team of 6. No, you're not. You're a leader. You manage the workload, you manage the equipment, you manage whatever, but you lead the people. And this is where a lot of organisations, public and private, have made the big mistake of calling people in leadership roles. From an APS 6, for example, might have a head of a team of 3 or 4 people. They're still a leader. In infantry days, you have a corporal, a section commander, has 9 or 10 men under him. He's a leader.
He's a leader, yeah.
And every level, they're a leader. Corporals, officers, and everything. It's the same as in the public sector. You manage the workload, you manage the capability, but you lead the people.
I think it's a great way of looking at it because I've met both.
Yep.
I feel I've met a lot of people that have the role title of a manager, but they're not a leader.
Yes.
And exactly. I also have met people who don't have the role title and they are a leader.
Yeah.
And it does come back to, are you people focused or are you focusing on your title? And I think a lot of people that do step into that assume the role that they are a leader, but they still have to showcase that to the team.
Yeah,
that they can
absolutely
follow them and respect them. I think it's interesting coming from that space, and that's a fantastic learn.
Yeah, no, it was
from your mentor.
It was just another one of those, just because
you've taken away.
It was just one of those just very quiet 20-second comments, and then moved on to the next thing. But it was one of those things that just stuck with me ever since.
I've spoken to another guest about this, where she had a very similar experience of. She started from a grad and worked her way up to a manager role, was a tech lead, got to that space. But there is a very specific time where you go, okay, if I'm going to go the next step, I'm going to have to turn my back really on the tools.
Yep.
And I'm going to have to figure out how I lead and not manage here.
Yeah.
And it is very much, you turn around and go, okay, I'll support this team and lead them, but then manage up. Yeah. And it's very difficult, I think, for a lot of people to realize that there isn't going to be that time to get your hands dirty on the tools anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your team will know more than you.
Oh, look, this was another client in the health sector, the new CTO that came in, who grew up also in cyber. There was some experience in academic and cyber and all that sort of stuff there as well. And the team found him one day going through code on this major platform, and he's going, what the hell are you doing? And who gave you access? And I authorized myself and blah blah blah, and I'm just going through and doing my own self-validation about all the source code and everything like that. And everyone's going, what the golly gosh are you doing? And so there was just one of those perfect moments of going, dude, you're the CTO
you should
of
not be
a
there.
Government organization. What the hell? If you're doing that, then you're not doing your actual job. If you've got an issue about, or you have no confidence in the code reviewers and everything,
that says more about how you're leading that team.
And if there is a legitimate issue, then fix it.
Communicate.
Yeah, swap them out or bring in someone. Address it. Do they need training? Do they need work? But don't get in and just start doing your own code review.
I don't know one CTO that has the time.
No. Yeah, it was an interesting experience. And his tenure at that organisation did not go well.
No, I can imagine. But it is very interesting that, as I said, there will come a point in time where if there is someone who is wanting to become a leader in the technical space, you will need to go, okay, put your ego at the door, because your team will catch up with the knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
And you can obviously be aware of the existing news in the tech space, and that's great to be on top of it. But you need to upskill in leadership now.
Yes.
Not necessarily
that's
tech.
what you become the SME in, is
leadership.
And a good leader knows how to multi-skill their team.
Yes.
And cross-train elements of their team and everything like that, whether it's cyber, whether it's tech, whether it's military, whether it's any sort of baseball, rugby team, whatever. Having a multi-skilled team, they might specialise in something, but they've got to be able to be cross-trained as well, because shit happens.
Oh, absolutely. And I do really enjoy So Gabriella, a mutual friend of ours,
Yeah.
she made a comment to me that was basically like, you aren't a leader until you've made another leader.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's so true, because for me, a leader is really bringing up people and
It's
upskilling them and
part of
supporting
its
them.
role is inspiring.
Yeah.
And with that, it's not the case of having everyone like you,
No.
because some of the best leaders have had some of the biggest haters.
Oh,
But
yeah.
those haters have followed them into battle or into whatever
Well,
because
they
it's
believe in them.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Think about one of the biggest or hardest transitions I had to make was as the company grew, we were doing non-cyber work and that as well. So
Yes.
organizational
After the
redesign.
demand.
Client
Yeah.
demand drove it. Procurement, contract management, and strategic vendor management, and support and logistics, and all that sort of stuff. So there's a number of different. Like he worked on a major program with a national courier organization. We got asked to come in and help redesign or analyze all its routes around Australia and determine which are the profitable ones and which ones weren't profitable. And
That's
that,
pretty
redesign the process and then turn it from red to black. As we grew into those sorts of things, big transition for me was I'm no longer the owner of just a cyber and digital transformation company. It's now these other things. And that first Big Four organization I worked for, I started out as a BA, a
Really?
business analyst, project manager, and all that sort of stuff in there, which was brilliant. I actually think any project manager should start out as a BA. You learn it.
Interesting.
Anyone in cyber should actually start out in the GRC field. Same sort of thing. You learn the basics, you learn all the analytics, you learn the
It is.
processes,
Yeah.
and then you can delve off of then into the more the technical space if you want. But I think they're both, the BA and the GRC side of the house are both awesome grounding.
I agree. And
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't have that
Yep.
because I fell into this space.
Yep.
But I definitely see a gap in my own understanding when I do meet BAs who have progressed into that space, because I immediately know if I converse with a project manager or a delivery manager, if they've had a technical background,
Yeah.
because they just get it.
Yep.
And they're aware of what needs to be done. And they not only just technical jargon, but the flow of conversation, they're like, oh, of course, yeah.
And part of the other transition is that I started to see cyber differently, because as we had some other platforms, one of the ones that we were trialing in the supply chain side of the house was a platform. And part of it, we decided, okay, we need to get cyber assurance and everything onto it. But as the business owner, I'm looking at it then going, hang on, how much do we actually need? I had the cyber team telling me one thing, and then I'm looking at it from my business hat and going, this is actually what we're going to be doing with it. This is the sort of data do we actually need as much as what? And then I brought in some independent, like pen testing and all that sort of stuff into it. And I wasn't happy with the speed at which they were doing things, the level and everything like that. I found myself viewing cyber differently now to when I was doing cyber.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a lot of people that have made that transition to going from working in cyber then as the business owner that does more than just cyber now. And you have to take a completely different view now. That was probably the biggest transition for me. I'd probably say challenging would be an accurate word.
I think a challenge is good, though.
Yeah, it was. Made some spectacular mistakes, but also had some spectacular successes. What we're doing now, and some of our client base domestically and internationally, and some of the big brand names in Australia and everything as well, and some of the sectors that we're servicing. Yeah, certainly punching well above, but it comes back to that handpicking the teams, the streamline, the heavy hitters. And the other thing is they've got to be able to work within a team, but also to be able to work independently for protracted periods of time. No, I trust them.
Trust is a huge thing when having a really efficient team, is that I know that you can collaborate with other members. I know that you can take direction, but I know that I can trust you to go away and do the job, and you can come back and deliver.
Or they'll come back. They're self-starters. For the majority, one of the biggest fears is failure. And so they'll do whatever they have to do to succeed. But that's also the environments they grew up in and everything as well. But it's also, you hear a lot of people, leaders, so to speak, don't come to me with problems, only come to me with solutions. We take a different approach. We go, no, we actually want to hear the problems, because if you've reached a point where there's a problem that you can't solve, then that means you actually, there is a legitimate problem.
Yeah.
And so we'll pull whatever resources to fix it.
I was going to ask you another question. That come to me with solutions, not problems.
Yeah.
I grew up with that saying. I don't know where I heard it, but I grew up in a military household as well, entire military family. And that was a consistent theme, even in cadets, right? But I remember saying that when I entered the corporate world, and immediately people were just like, it's not
stupid.
Yeah. But it is true. It's because you should be hearing the problems. You should be working with people to solve it together, not rely specifically. If you're a leader, they shouldn't be there making the solution.
Well, it was actually, one of my mentors, a guy called Cole, back in the army days. I just remember him and I sitting down after I'd stuffed something up big time on a course. I was getting another shot. I blew it big time for this particular activity.
Okay.
And they were going to give me a retest on it and everything like that. And
was it for a promotion or?
No, just a capability. And it was just one of the modules that we had to do.
Not too much. Yeah. Jared told me this is.
Yes. This is sacred.
This is.
It's
God forbid I have more than I need. This whiskey's been hyped up.
This is armed guard sort of territory.
Yes. Here. Don't spill any.
She sat me down. I was having a oh golly gosh, woe is me moment out of it and that as well. And he just sat me down and goes, look, you talked me all through it, what we just talked about, and he dropped that perler on me. He said, look, I want to hear your problems. Part of, as a team lead, you're going to be put in the team lead position again. You're going to run this activity. We're going to do it. But if there's any problems you encounter in your planning, come to us, come to the staff, and we'll talk you through it. And everyone, I'm going to give you the answer.
Yeah.
But we'll help you solve it and everything like that. And that's actually, once again, stuck with me.
You've got a few little.
Oh, like I'm thick as two planks, but I've had some brilliant mentors, and that's made a big difference.
I wanted to ask about that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you had mentors throughout all the different stages of your career, whether that was in the army or whether you started having them in corporate. Do you still have mentors now?
Probably not so much mentors, but a couple of people of similar that we catch up every so often and just talk shit, bounce things off each other and call each other rude names and whatever.
Of course, yeah.
My last real mentor was actually a guy called Brendan Sargent. He used to be the coup for defence, and he was acting secretary, head of defence for a while, and then got out and went over to ANU to head up like national security courses and all that sort of stuff at ANU. Unfortunately, he drowned down on the coast, obviously. Him and his wife got caught up in a monumental rip and everything, and she survived, thankfully, but unfortunately he passed away in the process trying to save her.
Wow.
And ever since then, it's been like, oh, look, I've had a look around up here, but at the moment, I'm more comfortable with having a few peers.
Just to bounce on.
Yeah, that we, as I said, get together and talk shit and
call each other rude names.
Absolutely. But I'd say what is probably the most important part of it is the trusted circle. So whatever is said,
yes,
and two of them, for example, are like competitors.
Yeah.
But it was an agreement, almost virtually in blood, that business is business, but this is completely separate and everything like that as well. So that's also, we've all got dirt on each other.
But this is a big bugbear of mine, and I'm not a business owner at an enterprise level.
Yeah.
I'm only talking from my opinion. But for me, I think there is enough for everyone that you shouldn't cut people off because they're a competitor.
It's also, no company can do it all now in the market. You have to have strategic partnerships and trusted strategic partnerships.
Yes.
So we've put in place a couple now. As I said, Lumen. Yeah. There's also another one, Secure Forte. So they're like a supply chain risk management platform and everything like that. So the three of us, them, Aquila and Lumen, joint forces, and the capabilities that we bring to bear now are freaking awesome. But even the big gorillas, whether it's an Accenture or a Thales or a KPMG, no one can do it all on their own now. They have to do in partnerships.
Yeah.
And so establishing trusted partners where you're not going to screw each other up. And we've had a couple early on the piece where we thought we had those trusted partnerships, but they went within 6 months, went south badly.
Really?
Yeah. And to the point where, one of them was actually getting quite vicious. Well, luckily the client saw through it all. And
Oh, there's a client involved as well.
yeah, so we'd combined to deliver to a client.
Yeah.
This was an ITSM platform, and the client saw the real.
That's such a shame.
But unfortunately,
It does happen.
not everyone's good or has good intentions, and that's okay. But early on, the first 3 years of the business, we got some bloody noses. So I learned some lessons very quickly early on. So got that out of the way. The last 2 years have been very good. With the recovery after the fire and that, yes, it became very much BAU, just hold fast for 6 or 8 months or whatever it was, until I was back into a position, not only physically, but mentally and everything like that as well. And one of the biggest things was that forced break, because I'd been running flat out for 20 odd years. That forced break, everything just went and I've become a bit of a fat boy, but that's all good. But I'll get to a point soon enough where I'll start getting back into the fitness and all that sort of stuff when I'm ready. The other thing is, like, a lot of pain, but I'm very scarce on the pain meds because, once again, that fear of addiction and all that sort of stuff. So there was a lot of even just physical pain. And sometimes, you'd see me where I might be up and trying to walk around and everything like that, and then all the spasms in the leg and whatnot, I'm just dropped to the floor.
And that's because of the nerve endings.
A whole range of things. I'd probably say in the last 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I've been back in the position of, okay, good now, and back into things. And through that process,
you met me.
Nightmares happen. When you ask,
Cut that out.
But no, in that time, it was, okay, want to make some changes in the company, want to take a bit of a different direction, a couple of things, and everything through that.
I think it gave you time, literally gave you time to reflect on what do you want.
And exactly with the time laid up in bed, especially in the hospital, here we go, all philosophical and everything like that. So I discovered what the actual meaning of life is.
Oh, wow.
I discovered the meaning of my life. And I discovered what the loudest noise in the universe is. Silence. Dead silence.
Oh, that is very philosophical.
Noise. Yeah. The meaning of life is to live life. Meaning of my life is building the environment where all my family and friends, loved ones and everything all come around. Got the pool, we've got the beach just down the pathway. We've all that sort of stuff. Got grandkids or whatever, if I get them one day, dogs, and then listening to babies laugh at the dogs getting the zoomies. Meaning of my life. So this is all in between hazes of drifting in and out. And then also working out, and got to see him, Jared, do where he was working with the business, got to see other people in the company and what was out, spoke to various people. And then it gave me time to think and strategize a bit. All right, what do we actually want to do from here? And we want to do stuff that actually matters, not poodle faking stuff. So that's why the teams, and this is where we really redesign the teams for that small, streamlined team. We go in, do this, focus on the stuff that really needs to be done, and all that poodle faking stuff, just let go. It's just naff.
I'm always offended that you say poodle faking stuff because I love poodles, and I was like, yeah, I guess.
It's better than the other words.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yep, we better.
I can see Jared literally just
come on,
foaming at the mouth. Okay, wait, you didn't even talk me through it. It smells caramelly.
So
nice. That's very smooth.
Yeah, it is. And like the coffee that they make is just brilliant. It's got
they roast their own coffee?
Yeah, we have both become incredibly big coffee snobs now.
Wow. Good for you.
We only get these guys, the coffee.
You've got to send me the link to this because this looks awesome. I'll savor this. Apparently, I'll never get it again.
Neither will I.
Yeah.
But he's only allowing it because of
No, I know.
you.
Jared was just like, I'm letting him bring this. And I was like,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Yes. Anointed.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. You talked obviously about the translating role that a lot of people, whether people can learn it or not, it is a skill that I think people should try.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
I am interested because you'd mentioned you obviously came up through the ranks, literally, and into that business owner role. Do you find in some of the conversations you're having in the boardroom with other execs that you are that translator piece?
Yes. And that was, I naturally fell into that because of the Army Intel days. Your basic courses and everything is to teach you how to be an analyst.
Yes.
Then to be able to brief very senior levels, including ministers or PMs and everything like that. So you've got to be able to convert the military jargon, the technical aspects and everything into simple language, right? And sometimes you might have, I need you to brief this particular general or this particular minister or what. You've only got 10 minutes. Go.
Really?
Yeah. It's so as much as it sucked at the time, it was a good proving
learning,
ground and everything like that. I remember I had to brief a general called General Cartwell. This is Afghanistan and Middle East, and had to give him an intel briefing on some stuff. And this is when he first took over the command over there, and he goes, "Oh, you're the briefer for today." Yep. How long do you normally debrief? Oh, they normally give us an hour. Your predecessors and everything like that. Nope, you've got 20 minutes starting now. And so I had to cull the brief in my mind on the fly.
What does he really need to know?
Yeah, and everything like that. So that was an interesting experience. He was really good commander and everything like that. A great way of doing business. So I've been fortunate. So Jim Mullen is the one I was telling you about. He was awesome. There was also Mark Evans was another commander that I had. He was brilliant. There's been a couple of others where I've had awesome commanders or leaders that I can actually look at. I've had some absolute terrible ones, but I've also learning what not to do is equally as important as learning what to do.
Oh, 100%.
And whether that's
and you learn 10 times quickly.
Military, public service, private sector, whatever. And so I've had some very good learning experiences. I've been given the opportunity to have some very big successes, but also some very big stuff ups and that as well. I've got some things so wrong in the past and that as well, but it's all part of the learning process.
I agree.
Especially as the business owner. Making that transition from being a staff member to a business owner is a big step. It's not for everyone.
No.
I encourage everyone to seriously think about it and look at it. And if you've got whether it's an SME, whether it's big or whatever, you'll find your way or you'll go under. There are certainly no guarantees, but it's a big step.
Yeah.
It's a scary one, especially when you're putting everything
on the
line, including all your own personal money or whatever, house, the kitchen sink, friggin' everything. It's a monumental step. And one that I thought I was prepared for, but 6 months into it, I
think anyone can prepare you.
Rocking backwards and forwards in the corner, sucking my thumb, calling for my mummy. So
the daily occurrence.
Yeah. There's been some massive scary moments, massive, oh my frickin' golly gosh, what have I done at times? But then, as I said, there's been some big successes and growing and everything like that as well.
Yeah, it balances it out.
Yeah, it does. The workload is, no one ever is ready for the workload as a business owner.
I think everyone sees a business owner as, you get to choose your own hours, but really you're trading an 8-hour day for a 24/7.
And especially if you've got international-based clients like that, it's like we've
insane.
Been up in the past where we've been up at 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning on teleconferences with the US or Poland.
Oh.
Yeah, and a couple of other countries and that as well. So that's, especially within your first couple of years, where you are a small team.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably say the first 2 years.
That's usually when a lot of people dip out.
18 to 20-hour days regularly.
Yeah. I just said it's not for everyone.
You've got to be willing to sacrifice the time with everything else.
Yes.
Just for that. And I'll be honest, and I do, you have to have a healthy ego to go with it. But I know I have that healthy ego, and I have some people around me to keep that ego in check. That's how it is, which I never used to. I never used to be that. I used to be a very big introvert. I used to
Really?
very big lack of self-confidence and everything like that.
Did you find that the army built that?
Yes, in about midway through my career, I started to sit there and look and go, I look at these commanders, or I look at, and I started off as a soldier first, and I didn't become an officer until late
When
in
you
my
went
career.
to intelligence?
Oh no, later, even later. I
really?
went in intelligence still as a soldier. It wasn't until the last couple of years that I became an officer. Part of it was I was having too much fun doing the stuff, and officers sat behind a desk at that stage. But it was also a self-confidence thing. I didn't think I was good enough.
So, would you say, whether or not now, would you say that you did suffer from a bit of imposter syndrome?
Every day, even now, I still do.
Really?
Yeah. As I said, I only passed one subject at high school, and that was English, which I hated. I loved other subjects, but
But it's a study element.
But this is in the early to mid '80s. The school I went to wasn't exactly going to school for academics. It was more sport and girls, but big insecurities or about myself, about being. When you get told most of your childhood and all through your late teens and you're a piece of crap, you'll amount to nothing. But that's what, as I said, coal mining kids, or coal mining families and everything, that was, we all thought that was normal for every family.
Very traditional, yeah.
And that as well. I had a great childhood, but there was a lot of
You don't
the other
realise.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started going to other friends' places and saw how households are supposed to work and everything. But it is what it is. But it wasn't until, midway through my army career, that I started to realise, and once again, it was the mentors and everything helping me understand that, hey, actually, you are good enough. You can actually do that sort of job. Yeah, so that's when I knew that my time in the military was going to end, that at some stage I'd outgrow it and move on to other things, and that as well, which is all good.
Yeah.
Had some of the best times of my life, had some of the worst times of my life in it, but it's a brilliant organisation that, if you listen to it carefully, it teaches you things, and a lot of things that it taught me, I was able to adjust to the private sector.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that we do are based on aspects that I learned or that the military taught me and everything as well. Yeah, so in that, as I said, a lot of the team comes from similar backgrounds or real-time operational environments, whether it be national security, whether it be, as I said, mining, finance. They've pretty much, most of them have all been some very real-time hardcore crises or activities and gotten their nose bloodied and knuckles scarred.
Not theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So collectively, most of the time, we know what we're talking about and can solve a problem. Yeah. Yes.
I do want to make an emphasis, though, on that imposter syndrome, because there is not one leader that I've not spoken to that doesn't suffer from it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people assume that imposter syndrome is when you're coming up through the ranks and you go, oh, I'm really not meant to be here. But a lot of execs still suffer from it.
Winston Churchill, Richard Branson. There are well-documented global leaders that actually have that.
Yeah. I think it's more than people realise.
There's not a exact playbook for leaders, right? There's guides and all that sort of stuff, but every leader at whatever level comes across circumstances or issues and challenges and that, some other people have dealt with, so you can reach out. But other times, this is unique and you've got to make your best way.
It's very subjective.
And this is where we get back to, let's say, in the crisis management world, having the leadership and the team members that can actually think on their feet, can sift out and sort out, and then see a way forward, see a plan of action, and then make the decisions and go for it. That's the same principles in leaders at all levels.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff where
everyone's just trying to work it out.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Just making shit up as we go.
Yeah.
or doing our best.
I think a lot of people either forget that or really don't realize and put a lot of, like, you should be, but put a lot of leaders on pedestals to think, wow, they've got it all sorted out.
Yeah, no
But
one
it's
does.
not the case.
I was watching these two back in the early infantry days. We were doing a birthday parade for the unit, big occasion.
I love a good parade.
And
Love a good parade.
hate all the rehearsals, hours and days of rehearsals leading up to it. But anyway, these two captains were having a bit of a panic moment because something wasn't going right. And one of them started to run off, and the other captain, not run off fleeing, but just running to where he needed to get to.
You're not meant to run a parade ground.
And he yelled out and he goes, "Don't run in front of the troops, it'll scare them." But as much as it was done in a comical way, it's actually
true.
In a lot of cases, the leadership needs to, in my humble view, needs to keep that calm appearance. They may be pooping themselves silly inside, but
like
to give staff the confidence and give upper leadership the confidence, hey, okay, they're across it. And whether it's shareholders, whether it's the government of the day, so your minister, for example, can go, okay, he's cool, calm and collected, he is across this. They don't need to see or hear the panic that's going on behind the scenes. And as long as you have your trusted peers or your trusted 2IC or your boss or whatever, where you can have those oh golly gosh moments in front of what the hell do we do?
Yep.
Those that don't take advantage of that, I think, are fools. But those that do realise and do take that aspect, they tend to make the better ones.
I completely agree. I've had similar circumstances where the biggest compliment I can get from a team member is we had no idea that was happening. And I might have been like a duck paddling frantically underwater, but what they saw, I wanted to shield them from.
Yeah.
And I had very close people in my team in senior leadership where, we had a few moments where I'm like, God. Yeah. But as long as the team didn't feel that, that to me was a win.
Yeah, the leadership team can have whatever battles it has amongst each other behind closed doors. But as soon as that door opens, it's one unified front. And the staff have got other things that they're dealing with or need to worry about. They don't need to lose confidence in their leadership.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to savor that one just to make sure that I save it. It was great. Really appreciate it.
We're going to be working up. The last one will be
I'm so excited. You have no idea how excited I am for that one. The brand new as well. Yeah. What's this one? Okay.
This is actually the Talisker. It's like a Bayside one. It's you'll taste. A part of the taste will be the ocean.
I was going to say salty.
Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful.
I actually find with my whiskies, and it's like the wines, red wines, it's mood based as to what I'll drink.
So it depends on the day.
Yeah.
I have a similar thing where, and this comes back to what we were saying about PD. Can I continuously sip on it? And for me, it depends on, let's say I want a dessert drink. I'll have a sherry cask or something like that.
Yeah.
If I want to just have some sips throughout the evening, I'll probably go to a Japanese whiskey.
Yeah.
Because it's very light, it's very crisp, and I can continuously do that. It's not too overwhelming. Yeah. Whereas the salty and the peaty, I have to go, okay, this is the one glass.
I know, that's fair enough. Cheers. For this one.
Okay, so this is salty. It is a bit peaty.
But you get that mix. So you actually get conflicting tastes where you've got the peat, but then you've got the salt that kicks in slightly afterwards. Yeah.
I know this sounds really silly, and it's not a bad thing, but it's almost like charcoal.
Okay. Yeah. No, I can see that.
And I know that sounds very odd.
No, it's. So we actually in a trip up in Scotland, we actually got to see one of the where they do the peat, they do all the malts and all that, the cooking. Interesting fact is a number of the distilleries now have done away with their own version of that, and they shared service one of those facilities, and they put in their order, and they might even supply the actual peat, and then the facility does it as per the instructions for that. Other times they just go, oh yeah, whatever you got, go and give us, and we'll include. So that was an interesting experience. Getting back to this, so the Australian Defence Force has set up like a cyber command now. So you have special operations, land, sea, air, and now
Yes.
cyber. And
which I love.
and one of our friends, sort of like a client organisation in the aviation sector, she's recently written a journal article that's her first real published work.
That's exciting.
And it's about information warfare now evolving into a traditional warfare capability rather than its own specialist domain.
Yeah.
It cuts across
That's embedded now.
all forms of warfare. It's quite an interesting, good read and everything like that. It has some quite good thought-provoking aspects to it. I'll actually send you the link
I'd love
to
to add
the
it in,
article and put it in as part of
Yeah.
this. Her name's Sam, and I think she's going to go a long way. This is her first real venture into, because she works cyber at the moment, but I think she wants to move more into that strategic threat intelligence, not just cyber, but all source and everything like that. So this is her first step in that journey. I think she's going to be meant for far bigger things.
It sounds it, yeah.
And like she's a deep thinker, big thinker, and everything. And I think she'll end up down in Canberra somewhere. And
I think what I found really interesting recently was going through cyber is a very broad term, just as data is. And I was looking at one of those kind of mind maps of the different areas of cyber that you could get into.
Yeah.
And at least for me, what I'm most interested in is predominantly, obviously, digital forensics and threat intelligence and all that. I'm really interested in that. And I think it's one of those nice to haves in terms of reading articles and all of that. In the day-to-day work that I do, it's more leaning towards the kind of system architecture, security architecture piece of work.
Yep.
And because I can see the impact day-to-day of both the data and cyber working together to get to that point. And I find it very interesting that there are so many aspects to cyber that I don't think people are aware of.
No. And cyber has, as you say, grown so much over the years,
Hugely.
but fluctuates.
Okay.
Yeah, and everything as well. So sometimes something will be cyber, and then a couple of years down the track, then it's no longer cyber. It's part of technology or something like that.
In what way?
In Australia, for example, AI, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've got AI fatigue.
Yeah, but a lot of CISOs are wearing AI. Like their organisation goes, "Oh, we don't understand this. Yeah, this can go under cyber," and it's not. It's another IT platform, so to speak, and everything like that. So it gets miscategorized. And so that'll be one of the things that in a couple of years it'll get shunted back over to IT and whole of enterprise and everything like that.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so there's a number of things, and a number of CISOs we talk to are going, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah. What?
This is not cyber.
There can be an element of it integrated, but
wholeheartedly. And I say this to people, particularly executives and everything. They say, I met such, and they're an expert in all things cyber. And I say, okay, let's stop.
All things cyber?
And I said, cyber domain now is so big, you cannot physically be an expert in all domains. You can be an expert in one or two, and then you can be proficient in another couple.
Yes.
But that's it.
Yes.
If you're calling yourself an expert in whole of cyber,
you're lying.
You're either delusional or lying. So pick one, but it's one of those two.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting, and people get a reality check in that.
I wonder, in the conversations that you're having in C-suite spaces, what is the biggest gap that you see in those conversations with C-suite in their understanding of cyber?
Yeah. There's two. One is the element I was talking about where so many of them are getting pissed off with their cyber and tech leads.
But they're not understanding.
Right. They just keep talking geekanese and not business. So that is certainly a gap in that aspect. The other aspect is the realization or the implications, the real consequences of your supply chain issue as well. So it's growing, the awareness is growing and everything like that, but it's still quite a significant gap. Not just in your primary supply chain vendors, but all the way down. The aspect at the moment I'm trying to work out if it's their unwillingness or their inability to actually understand the true consequences of that in today's world.
No, I agree. Right? Because it comes back to a conversation I think we had, and even quite a lot of the conversations I've had with anyone who's working within cyber, is that it feels like, at least at the moment, that cyber is an end piece.
Yes, it's not integrated enough into and
It's almost like a reinforcement or a check
Yeah.
at the end.
yeah, it's so there are a couple of organizations or a couple of our clients and all that sort of stuff that have really taken within their organizations and really changed the dynamic where they established a front of house within their cyber team and capability and everything. And individuals are allocated relevant business units that they'll be a liaison officer for. And so they'll go along to monthly, fortnightly meetings with them and everything like that and learn about, hey, a business unit will be going, that might be finance, for example. Oh, we're looking at this new platform. We want to do this and this. And so getting the cyber LO, and each of these LOs might have 2 or 3 business units that they're looking after. And so they're starting to hear things at the genesis stage.
That's
and
great.
they can actually start to provide that advice and going, look, you've got a business need to do this. Here's how we can help. And here's how we can help you navigate the turmoils of cyber requirements. But then they'll then work with them to develop the user requirements and everything like that. All right, work mapping out what actually is going to need, say, ISM or E8. What's actually going to need monitoring? What's actually going to need blah, blah, blah. And so they'll work with that team to start to flush those out. And they're reporting that right back into the team. So then they arrange meetings with the assurance team, with the architectural team, the SOC or whatever, and start getting that buy-in and everything like that as well. And what this one particular CISO has done is organise for those business units to come in for a tour of the whole cyber area. The SOC get to show things, play with things, get to sit down with the architectural, get to sit down with all the assurance team, and so they gain an understanding of why.
Yeah, which I think is lost on a lot of people because I think when people think about cyber, they're like, oh, defense against something that could happen, so it happens when it does.
Yeah.
Rather than proactively thinking, hey, we want to prevent that ever happening.
Yeah, and it's also, it reduces, I won't say it stops, but it reduces them putting in place a certain architecture that's provided to the assurance team.
Yes.
But then then they'll change the architecture and everything like that. And so you're monitoring the wrong things. You don't really know what the ecosystem looks
There's
like.
rework at the end, right?
Yep.
There's so many. So we both went to the last conference and listened to Gabriella's talk. And one of the areas that she talked about that I was like, wow, because I'm just coming into cyber, it's things that I've already been doing and peripherally seeing that I'm not realizing is actually a cyber practice. Yep. So as an example, in the first instance of writing out a statement of work, hey, this is the architecture that the client is looking at wanting to implement.
Yeah.
There's already a security element to that is a decision that's been made before we've even gone and had the conversation.
Looking at the business need itself. Okay, is the business need, or is the need that particular business unit is wanting this thing for, does it actually align with the organization's strategic direction, the key services that it's supposed to deliver?
Yeah.
And this is where I see cyber people make a monumental mistake. If I could headbutt and change one thing, this actually would be it. Cyber teams need to step back and work with the organization and identify what are the critical services that organization is to provide to people of Australia, Queensland, client, customers, and then mapping what is the infrastructure underpinning each of those services. Then designing your cyber
around
to support that. And the whole organization needs to be geared toward, these are the 8 services that we are to provide. Everything else is just naff.
Yeah.
So is it really needed?
Really not.
And with the world of cyber, every size I was faced with, okay, I've got this much I've got to do. I've got this much budget and I've got this many resources. So what do? You identify your most critical, your crown jewels, your essential services, whatever. And you start building and designing and implementing and working your way out until you run out of resources and money. And then anything after that is risk-based approach.
Yes.
And then that becomes phase 2 next year. You keep going, you're building out until you run out of money again. And then the third year. So it might be a 3 to 5 year journey where then you implement all your cyber requirements or your cyber capabilities across your entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
But it's all aligned with what the organization, the enterprise, is there to deliver, is there to do, achieve. And everything else is just naff.
But what you mentioned, though, is holistically, the organization is aligned.
Yes.
It's not, oh, this is something we tack on at the end. It's embedded in the way that you do things.
Yeah.
And I think it's, even for a newbie in cyber coming in, it's very easy to pick people who are like, cyber's just back and PII. And you're like,
Yeah.
there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
And I think that it feels like a bit of a tick in the box when you go, we're considering this.
With a lot of business units, yes. But the smart CISOs and the smart cyber teams are proactive in engaging with those business units, getting in early.
Yes.
As I said, this one particular one, set up a front of house, set up liaison officers. So 3/4 of the cyber team were appointed as LOs. They had about 3 or 4 business units that they were responsible for, engaging with every fortnight, every month and everything like that, attending their meetings. And then sometimes reps in those business units would attend the cyber meetings to actually hear things from the other way. And that actually created a culture of those business units going, we're thinking about doing this. Oh, look, we'll get Tim, or cyber LO, and we'll get him in the meeting. And
that's great.
Actually, it was an 18-month journey, but it turned it around to a very proactive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Having an advocate in the first instance, or a champion, to be like, yes, I will bring them because they have an understanding of what we need.
Absolutely. And that CISO spent a lot of time engaging with his peers across those business units as well. Some worked very well, some didn't.
Yeah.
But that's just life. But that individual did everything well above what they could be expected to do to shift the paradigm within that organization and refocus a lot of stuff into the strategic direction of the organization to support. And that's the thing, is cyber is a supporting element. It's not the element that decides, no, this unit will not do. You've got a legitimate business requirement. All right, you want to do it this way. Look, if you do this and this, you're going to break Australian laws.
Yeah.
But if you do it this way, then it'll actually work. So that's, once again, the smart ones are actually doing that.
Well, I think we spoke about this at the roundtable that we went to, was how do we get people involved and how do we get people thinking about cyber in the first instance? And it is about people, and it's about communicating and making sure that people are talking about it early, not at the end. And that takes time, yes.
Yes.
But it also takes communication from the right people to involve the right people as well.
So the cyber team have to get out off their chair, get out from behind the glass.
Yep.
And do this thing of going and meeting their counterparts in the business units and everything, go and press the flesh.
But it goes both ways.
Oh, absolutely. But it's got to start somewhere.
Yes.
Cyber, you want these changes, and they have to be, each of the business units are caught up in their own world, finance, HR, legal, capabilities, whatever. So generally the view is, cyber is a roadblock, let's avoid them, or let's not tell them the truth. So it's up to the cyber teams to be proactive at the start.
Yes.
And after a period of time, that mutual respect and trust and everything. Yeah. And once those business units start to see you as being proactive in helping them solve a problem,
they'll meet you halfway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The majority of them are there with the right intent.
Absolutely.
They want to be successful and everything like that. So if you can help them look good.
And that's all people want.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I've got 2 questions left, and I was going to say,
we'll get Jared to rinse these out.
Get rid of the salt, because this is.
You didn't like it?
not a salty gal.
Okay, no,
Not a
that's all
salty
right.
gal, but this I've been waiting for, so I want to
right.
make sure I'm prepared and
So
ready.
this is the 23-year-old,
Yes,
right?
not the
So
26,
I know,
but
have a sniff.
the box itself, stunning. One day I would love Glenfiddich to sponsor this. Just, oh, it's very nice. It's very heavy.
Yeah.
That's a heavy bottle.
Yes. Good for hitting. No.
The question I had before we get to that point, Jared's like, what?
Yep.
In terms of what you're seeing, like your career's obviously spent 20 years going from the army to
Yeah.
where you are now as a business owner, and even the conversations with Aya we had before, what do you see as the next big shift in cyber?
Probably two things. One is that the job you have now in cyber in 3 years' time is going to be so different, might not exist, and everything like that as well.
Yep.
The resourcing issue is a real issue. And
As in there's not enough?
Yeah, and it's forcing businesses, departments, and everything like that to look at other ways, more creative ways, and certainly AI and the automation and everything like that to a degree.
Yep.
You look at 10 years ago, a standard SOC, for example, might have had 15, 20 people in it. Now it can do the same thing with 5 to 8.
Yeah.
That's just evolution. I think we're getting to a point, though, where the business owners or managers or whatever, and whether it's public or private, the senior leadership will actually integrate it more because there is a lot more awareness and everything now. And with the advent of things like cyber insurance, more and more organisations, insurance companies now demanding that as part of the insurance coverage from a cyber perspective, you must have this in place.
Really?
So the senior leadership are now more cyber aware, are now more, if we get hit with a cyber attack, what does our insurance cover this?
I think it's more front of mind, right?
Yeah, it certainly is. And so the senior leadership are becoming more cyber aware, but also more cyber savvy.
Okay.
And it's been a long battle to get them there. And so from that top down, that reach down and everything as well. But I think within 5 years, the fundamental changes that we will see in cyber, particularly with the integration of AI, like threat actors using AI in such a sophisticated way now, and they also have their own resourcing and budgetary constraints, right?
Yeah.
But in Eastern Europe now, some of the criminal organizations actually have help desks. So you can actually, if you want to run a botnet attack against whoever, and you're having problems with it, you can actually ring up this number, and it's a help desk that actually tells you, oh no, you're doing this incorrectly, so you've got to do this. Yeah, it's the bad guys are very sophisticated.
Health.
Oh, hell yeah. They've got their entire ecosystem.
Wow.
So not all smart people work for the good guys.
Yeah.
And some of these criminal organizations are rivaling, their capabilities are rivaling tier 2 nation state capabilities. Wow. And with the growth of certain countries that aren't Western aligned and the capabilities and the aggressiveness that they're seeing, I think what they're bringing to us is going to need a significant overhaul of all of our cyber aspects and that as well. And this is on public record. So, the Cyber Command and ASD and NOx, the National Office of Cybersecurity, Michelle McGuinness, all those. One of the biggest pressing concerns for government is a high-end sophisticated threat actor, i.e. nation state, sitting within somewhere in Australia, critical infrastructure or essential services, that laying dormant for a protracted period of time until geopolitical events are the right for them to kickstart some stuff. And so the realization we're seeing across government and private is, oh crap, they probably have been inside our ecosystem for a period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're starting to see.
To know enough.
And that mapping of their environment and everything like that. At the end of the day, it's risk-based. Can majority of organisations defend themselves against a dedicated nation state? No, they can't. Or against a dedicated tier 1 organised crime entity? No.
But they can try and prevent it.
And this gets into, certainly from my perspective, every organisation has to take it, and this is part of our planning as well, contingency planning. At some stage, we'll get owned. by a cyber threat actor. But it's how quickly you recover and how well you recover and how you manage that recovery process and getting back online or getting back to delivering your business. So your contingency planning and your recovery planning used to be recovery side of the house. The resilience and recovery used to be a big thing back in 2009-10. So the Prime Minister at the time...
What a year.
It's so the PM at the time, Julie Gillard, actually, it was elevated cyber right up into a top 10 priorities. And there was a big push across, certainly at the federal level, about organisations' resilience and recovery. And then that fell away for a while after that, for a few years, and it's been making that comeback now as well. Every organisation has to take the aspect of, at some stage we will get owned.
I think the knowing.
Yeah, and then you protect yourself as much as you can. And
this will happen.
Budgets and resources and everything like that. At the end of the day, the senior leadership are the ones that sign off on the cyber budget.
Yep.
And so ultimately, they've got to wear the risk. And that's part of it. If they don't approve an increase in budget or a sufficient enough budget, and let's say the cyber team, the cyber zone has done everything humanly possible they can to convince, that is risk.
What is your risk appetite for this? It will happen.
Yeah. And this is converting that cyber language into business speak, the risk, the dollars, reputational.
What is the impact?
Yeah, consequence management is basically it.
I like that though.
Yeah, so it's and whether I mentioned it earlier, whether it's a private organisation that's got shareholders, and shareholders, majority of them are mature enough to know, okay, the company X has been hacked. I'm a major shareholder in it, but they've recovered really well. They've dealt with the issue quite well. So, okay, I still got confidence.
Yeah.
I've seen government organisations get owned and the relevant minister has lost confidence in that organisation's ability. So they'll make some change. It might take 6 months, 8 months. They'll make some discrete changes in the senior leadership. And
because they didn't adapt quick enough?
Yeah, no, I need someone else in who can give me the confidence that they can deal with shit. All right. So that's out of the world of cyber. That's where I see the biggest step up that organisations need to take now is we're going to get owned at some stage, but
what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, what's our contingency? What's our BCP?
I have one more question. You've just reminded me another one. When we think about CEOs who are absolutely thinking about, okay, cyber is at the forefront of my mind now, we are understanding that will happen at some stage.
Yeah.
Do you feel at the moment that resourcing is matching that demand, or that there's still a long way for people to get into cyber?
Well, there's one of our client organisations who were at this afternoon. The senior leadership of the cyber team, awesome, and everything like that, and their knowledge and experience and whatever. But there's quite a gap between them and the technical leads and everything. And that's not saying that they're bad or anything. It's just the level of experience and everything.
Yeah.
But where we see with a lot of organisations, predominantly government organisations, is the cyber leadership or the cyber team are just drowning. There's not enough resources that they can't get in. A lot of the organisations are transitioning to the permanent staff dealing with the BAU and the capability development uplift or certain services being delivered by contractors or managed service and consultants, and that are overseen by permanent staff members. But now these organisations aren't able to recruit enough permanent staff to manage the BAU. And some of the organisations that we're seeing, simple things such as their patching isn't up to date, might be 3-6 months behind.
They don't have the time.
No, and the assurance programs of capabilities that are coming into service and everything like that, they're not able to get to and everything like that as well. It's certainly, and I try and equate it to back in the infantry days. As a soldier, you wake up first thing, you might wake up first thing 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever.
Rebelling.
Yeah, you're in the field, you're on operations, whatever. So it's first things you do is you check your weapon, you check your ammunition, you check all your munitions, you check each other, you take care of those basics day in, day out, all the time. And it's the basics that will, if you got the machine gun, for example, you make sure all your linkage, your ammunition linkage, free from mud, free from sticks, so it can have smooth feed in. So it gets back, if we talk cyber, make sure all your alerting is up to date, set within the tolerances, that you're monitoring the correct things. You're not monitoring non-critical shit, and you're missing critical stuff. So all of those basics is what will predominantly save you. All the new fancy stuff, the attention deficit, something shiny syndrome, and leadership getting distracted by the next thing. That is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
But it's the basics that will keep you alive, will keep you functioning and recover and everything like that. It's frustrating at times where you see organizations go, you look at them and you go, oh, you come through, do an assurance or do an activity for us. And then you start pulling apart their SOC, for example, and you realize the alerts haven't been tweaked in 3 to 5 years. Your use cases are no longer valid. And you're just going, where are your playbooks? Oh, we've got playbooks listed all in here. So you start opening up the playbooks, but they've been drafted for 4.5 years.
Or owned by someone from the 80s who's left.
And everything like that. So you just want to grab them by the ears and give them a big Danish headbutt. But it's all right. I tell clients that to their face.
Yeah.
So
I think they need the awareness that, hey, you need to own it.
Exactly. And I can actually get away compared to a lot of others where I can say some stuff and to the client's face or the team or whatever and not get in trouble for it. They might think, oh, you're being a bit hard. But it's, once again, gets back to the relationship development.
Yeah.
Getting it to a point where you can actually have those honest, frank, candid discussions.
I think it's the trust. Like, you've built enough trust to be like, hey, this is an issue.
Absolutely. With some of the couple of clients, I can walk into their office, close the door and go, you're being a dick. You are the problem. But then again, they'll give it back to me as well. And then afterwards, we'll then go have a coffee or a whiskey or whatever. So but I enjoy that client interaction and everything like that.
I have to say
where you can actually make a real difference.
Yeah, and I have to say that's one area. Like, I'm in the role that I am now, and you're obviously in an executive position. I love those conversations. So anytime, and I guess that's why I made the podcast, is those conversations are incredibly interesting. And I feel like there are a lot of people that would love to be privy to them because that's where you grow and that's where you hear those insights. Because for me, I love being in the room where I listen to what's going on, and that's how I grow. Because okay, that's important to you. Let me understand why.
Yeah.
Not hearing from, we need to do this thing. Why?
Yeah.
And there's a big gap there.
Oh, look, I've had, when I belonged to a certain government organisation at the time, and we had a band to go overseas to the US and look at our counterpart organisation over there. And they came back and said, oh, we're purchasing this platform and we're going to use it like this. And you go, why? We don't need that. We have other staff that does that. And you go, I don't care. We're getting it. And everyone has gone, look, no, we don't need it. And elements of it breach Australian law. 3 weeks later, the vendor turns up with the platform going, oh, yeah, we're here to install it. What do you
can't, sorry.
He goes, oh, no, it's already been bought, paid for, and everything that phase has gone out and just purchased. That can also be part of the problem.
Yeah.
But with a number of the organisations we've done, whether it's private or government, when we asked the hard question was, okay, out of all of your staff, your cyber staff, how many of them would you deem competent? And I'd say the majority of them come back at about 30 to 40% of the staff they deem as competent. The rest of them, they've got to handle, manage, or even just give nebulous bits of work to and everything like that as well. So across the board, and that reinforces that the shortage of real skill set.
Resourcing,
But we better try this.
No, I did have one more question. That was the last question.
Okay. All right.
I'm so excited.
Oh, good.
My last question was, if anyone was obviously trying to get into cyber, i.e. me, or anyone else, what would be your advice in terms of something to do, whether that's soft skills, a course, or what is something you're seeing that you think would benefit?
First of all, start talking to some cyber, whether in your own organisation or others. There is, and I'm open about it, I sit on the board of the Cybersecurity Champions of Tomorrow. Gabriella founded that back in 2020, and the plug for that is that's grown from a dozen people in over at TAFE to it's about 2,000 people now across 19 countries. So we're actually about to start opening up other formal chapters around Australia first, and then across some of the other countries. So we actually, and blame it on the army, I believe in global domination. So I want to see it grow, and Gabriella as the CEO across a global aspect. When she originally designed it, which is when I first met her in 2020, was there's something missing in regards to the entry point getting into cyber, and appears to actually talk to some sort of organization, because the other, not poo-pooing on any of the other bodies, for example, but the majority of them deal with experienced operators and big issues and everything like that. There was a gap for the novices or people that want to make a career change or things like that as well. So that's why Gabriella created this environment, this organization, to mentor. I'll call them juniors, not young, because you can have
Could be anyone.
older people doing a career change.
Yeah.
As I said, juniors into transitioning into cyber, or they need to be able to talk to somebody. They need to get introductions and that as well. So a number of the activities that we do as part of the champions is we'll bring in groups of CISOs or deputy CISOs or senior people, stream leads and everything like that in cyber, in and give presentations on something. But as part of the networking, the members actually get to interact directly with the CISOs, for example. And a number of the CISOs that we brought, that they're quite open about it. They go, okay, I'm using it as potential recruitment ground. Well, I'm going to start tagging some potential talent and track them for a bit, see where they're going, and then down the track, we'll see what we do. But it's also, what we found is recruitment companies, and this is something that was frustrating the CISOs and the stream leads, was they'd have their organisation force them to use a recruitment company to go out to market, come back and everything like that.
Yeah.
So what they'd tell the recruitment company isn't necessarily, the requirements they need isn't necessarily what goes out to the market and what gets evaluated coming back.
Yeah.
So we create the opportunity for the junior people to actually speak directly to the people that make the decisions. And, all right, what are you looking for? How do you like CVs? What should I include? How should I do interviews? What are the sorts of things? So that we actually have a number of those activities, as well as other big topics that we do or bring in the webinars and everything like that as well. It's, I think, help a lot of the, as I said, the junior people in cyber, or people who want to make a career transition and everything like, to find their way, to give them a starting point.
Yeah.
Where we help introduce them to people, to topics and everything like that. And there have been times with Gabriella, I've sat down with a couple of people and go, look, you say you're interested in this and this. To be honest, I don't think you're suited. Have you considered this instead? And everything like that as well. We've got a pretty good board now. We've got some fantastic volunteer helpers as part of it now.
Thank you.
And some of the programs, like one of the programs that the volunteers are doing, or a couple of the volunteers are doing, is about digital identity. What happens with your digital identity when you pass away?
Yeah.
How there's nothing really in place developed. So they're going to develop a framework, going to develop some papers and everything like that. We're going to take it to the likes of the NOCs, and all the different government departments and other institutions, and get backing, get the co-collaboration, for example. And it might be state or federal police, it might be a multitude of different organisations that will assist with it. But the volunteers are going to drive that, and they've got to run it as a formal project. There are waypoints, there are KPIs, and everything is all part of it. And then with the release of it being, formally produced as a formal report, and then released and perhaps sponsored by the relevant government organisation.
I think it's an incredible thing.
So these are big, meaty topics that the volunteers are
getting access to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're getting introduced to very senior people in the relevant organisations to help with that as well.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's an amazing way. Like for anyone listening, for me, I do a lot of volunteering in different groups. And one of the main reasons why I started volunteering was sometimes it is daunting to go to an event by yourself. It's easier to volunteer for something because you're breaking down the barrier to entry for yourself.
Yeah.
You're immediately being involved with the event organizers,
Yeah,
the people.
Yeah, you
the
got to
people
support
behind it.
network there.
Yeah, immediately you're a part of something.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I would say to anyone who's hesitant. Is there any way that you can involve yourself in an event organization that you volunteer, or long term, where that opens up doors where you may not necessarily have access to normally?
Yeah.
I think being a volunteer really does help and accelerate some of the conversations where you wouldn't have access to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had what I consider a very blessed, spectacular career, and despite the monumental screw-ups that I've had along the way on several things and that as well. And the opportunity to give back now with the Cyber Champions, working with Gabriella and the rest of the team and everything like that. And there's a couple of other things that we're involved in. So the company sponsors a couple of different organizations and or charities that we've done in the past. Starlight Foundation, the kids that are coming to end of life, and the Christmas parties and that we're involved with developing for them. So there's a number of different things that I've been involved with that period of time. But it's all about choosing the ones that make a real difference. And so when I first met Gabriella and she dragged me to be a guest speaker at an event at TAFE.
Kicking and screaming.
Yeah. All kidding aside, I'm fortunate with my role, I get to do something that I really enjoy, which is standing up in front of people and showing off. But I'm open about it.
Yes. At least you're honest.
Yeah. But all the kidding aside, though, it's helping others. And I've stepped on some big landmines and, on the bloody nose and skin knuckles and everything like that. And if I can help others do it, because I had some brilliant mentors.
Yeah.
And I believe a big part of it is passing that on as well. It doesn't always work, and that's fine. But certainly a core part of the company is focused on giving back and helping others in that aspect. And as I said, global domination for the Cyber Champions. We want to get those numbers up and expand the base and set up formal chapters and everything, which will be a good thing. But the biggest thing, though, is I don't want it to lose its
core value.
Yes, that has to remain more than anything.
Yeah.
And if it means we only grow a little bit more, then that's fine.
I love that.
Yes, and it's the same as with everything we do, whether it's a Cyber Champions, whether it's a company or whatever. Don't want to be the biggest, but want to be the best. Yeah. Certainly, and supporting Gabrielle achieving what she wants to achieve with the Cyber Champions is a big thing. She's a brilliant person. She's come a long way. She's faced her own adversities and overcome them, and certainly had her own journey. And where she is now compared to when I first met her in 2020 is phenomenal.
Incredible.
Yes.
She's going to be a guest.
Oh, cool.
Very excited.
I'm more than happy to be in the grandstand, hold up the scorecards and heckle, so that's all right.
You can take Jared.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, she's a big personality, I think, in the cyber domain, and I think she will go a long way.
Oh,
You're right. But I also think that at some stage she will step out of cyber and become a leader of an organization and everything that as well, because I think she'll get to a point where she will outgrow just cyber.
She's destined for big things. Yeah,
absolutely. I won't tell her this.
No, of course not. We'll cut it out. Yeah, we don't want to say too many nice things.
That's right. But yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you. for that.
No, well, good.
We're going to end on this because I've been
absolutely.
waiting for this.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. Yes. Oh, it's so smooth.
And then you get that little bit right at the end.
It's very light.
Yeah.
That is lighter than what I assumed.
Yep. It's still got a little bit of the start of the peppery.
Yeah.
So the 21-year-old is where it starts. This one has got
this is the
23.
23.
And this one's got just a bit more. As it's going down, it comes back up.
Yeah.
Tickles your nose. And then the 26-year-old.
That might be your sinuses, mate.
No, the 26-year-old is a bit more. But no, once you hit the 18-year-olds, it actually starts to become smoother
Yeah,
for the Glenfiddich range.
that is so silky.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's it for this episode of Data and Drams. A huge thank you once again for Brad for joining me and for sharing his career and leadership insights. A special mention to Jared, who was behind the camera rinsing out each glass so we had a proper tasting experience. If you loved this episode, I'd be thrilled if you took a moment to leave a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn over at Data and Drams for episode updates and my latest whiskey recommendations. Join me next time as we dive into yet another amazing career journey over a delicious drink. Until then, Slanjava.